Happy Friday, fam. I am so excited that you joined us for another episode of Boss Up for business owners and professionals. Listen, we are the House of Hope Atlanta. Our pastor is Dr. E. Dewey Smith Jr., and we believe that life with God is better in every way, every day. I got to take a moment. I have to take a moment to thank all of you for staying with us, for rocking with us since last year. It's been almost 10 months. Can you believe that? Can you believe that it's been 10 months since we started Boss Up? I want to thank all of you for rocking with us, for hanging with us, for continuing to watch, for your viewership, for your comments, for your support. This season, we want to hear from you. And so I need you to put something in the comments. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Hope TV at www.thehopetv.com. So, as I was praying about what we wanted to say to empower professionals and business owners this year, in this season, God spoke to me and he said, listen, start out with the boss ladies, start out with the boss women. And so this year we've started out really strong with some really amazing guests, some guests that are very knowledgeable, some guests that are very skilled. And today is no different. Listen, I'm sharing someone who is very special to me, very special to my family and to my ministry. I'm sharing with you none other than Dr. Tlynn Smith. She's our guest on Boss Up tonight. Just to tell you a little bit about her, she's a successful businesswoman with proven experience in both ministry and the marketplace. So she's multifaceted. She's educated, she's anointed, and she maintains high business acumen. As a CEO, her gift of collaboration and bridging gaps is evident in the slogan of her company, Real Solutions of Georgia Incorporated. Dr. T specializes in providing training in the areas of business and leadership development. Will you, Boss Up family, join me in welcoming none other than Dr. T. Lynn Smith to Boss Up tonight? Join me in welcoming her.
Hey, hey, how are you?
Listen, we're excited to have you on Boss Up. Couple of quick things. If you haven't already, we need you to share this video on all of your social media platforms so that your network, those who are connected with you, those who just kind of follow your page, are able to get in on this conversation because this is about to be amazing. This is about to be really powerful. So let's just get into it. Let's jump into it. Dr. T, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a CEO, you've been a CEO for a long time. Did you choose entrepreneurship or did entrepreneurship choose you? Tell us about your journey.
Well, let me go back. You know, People always say, T. Lynn, what's that all about? First of all, my first name is Triesa, and I tell people, you can't call me T, you can't call me Lynn, you can't pronounce Triesa, but you can call me T. Lynn. And so it's
Yes.
always a wonderful conversation piece. And so people always ask, where'd you get the name from? Basically, when I was in college, undergrad, they could not pronounce my name all through grade school, high school, the whole nine. So I decided one day, you know what? I'm tired of being called Teresa. I said, I'm going to become T. Lynn Smith. And that's the way it came about. And so from that day on, you can't call me T. You can't call me Lynn unless you're my family, but you can call me T. Lynn. So that's how that came about because I know somebody's wondering, T. Lynn, what's that all about? So just for those of you that were wondering, that one was for you. Now, you were asking, how did I come into all of this and what happened? Well, let's see. If we talk about business, as a little girl, I've always wanted to do something aside from uh, what everybody else was doing. I was always
Yes.
interested in music, but I was always interested in business or solving the problems of music. So as I grew up, I made sure that for every degree I got in music, I got one in ministry. But let me tell you how the journey began. I began playing music at the age of 14 because at our church, the young man that played, he decided he didn't want to play anymore. So he was like, Pastor, I'm leaving. I don't want to play anymore. Now, at that time, I was on the road, Pastor Jennifer. I just knew I was going to be the next Sheila E. drummer. I could play
Come on,
drums and I was
come
good.
on.
Come on now. So I was on my way. I was taking lessons. My parents bought me this beautiful orange, sparkly drum set. I mean, it was the bomb. In fact, as a young girl, um, Reverend Milton Brunson and the Thompson Community Singers came to Ottawa, Illinois, where I grew up, and they used my drum set because it was so beautiful. But anyway, sidebar. I sometimes I get sidetracked. I start thinking about all these wonderful things, and I'm like, oh my
Love it.
God.
Love it.
So I was on my way to being the next Sheila E. And the young man at our church said he didn't want to play anymore. So me wanting to fill a gap, wanting to make sure that collaboration was taking place, I said, well, Mom, Dad, I'll play. Now, ask me if I could play.
Could you play?
No, I couldn't play. So I think I could play one song in the key of C up and down. But so my parents prayed with me that night. I went to bed, and I've heard these stories about people going to bed, the parents praying for them. They get up the next morning and they have the gift to play. So I was like, that is going to be my testimony. Went to bed that night, got up in the morning. There was a piano in the house because my mom does play the piano. Got on the piano, and I could only still play that little song. So I said, all right, I'm going to have to work. That was lesson number one, working. No matter what you aspire to do, if you don't put the work in, you're not going to be able to be successful in it. So I began to work. My parents moved one of the couches out of our living room, and they bought me an organ. It's no, seriously. So I began to practice day in and day out. I couldn't really find an organ teacher. So my mom said, you know who to call. So I began to pray and said, Lord, teach me how to play. So after about 4 months, I finally mastered my first song. Now ask me what my first song was.
What was your first song?
Shine on me. Let the
Come on.
light from the lighthouse. And so we had a broadcast every Sunday night in our church. My pastor, the late Bishop William Haven Bonner, and whenever he would get up to speak, the first thing he would do was he would sing Shine on Me. So this was the night that I was going to get on the organ and play Shine on Me. I mean, I'd been practicing and practicing. My mom would sing it, and I'd play it with her. So he gets up and he starts singing. I'm on the organ, legs kind of short, trying to reach the pedals. So he begins to sing in the key of A flat. So I
Uh-oh.
began to play. Now it wasn't perfect, but Bishop Bonner sang that song like the angels were playing the organ. And that gave me confidence because I know I messed up, but he didn't look around and do like we do. Bad note, you know how they do.
They'll do it. Saints
They
will do
will in a heartbeat. But he continued to sing and he closed his eyes and he began to growl and sing that song. And that was the beginning of my organ playing. But it gets better. Shall I continue?
I'm loving all of this. It's all in the narrative.
So then I began to really focus in on people that directed the choir. Now, I was the organist and loved to sit behind. And so one year, my family sent me to UNAC. That is the United National Auxiliaries Convention. That was all 5 conventions of the Church of God in Christ coming together. Missions, evangelism, music, Sunday school, and youth, all under one umbrella. And we had this 2,000 voice choir. And guess who the minister of music and president was? You know her. Tell me who she was.
Judith
Take one guess.
McAllister.
No, I was a little girl.
Oh, okay. Maddie Moss Clark.
Yay! Ding, 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 ding. You got it. And of course, it was Dr. Maddie Moss Clark. I sat in rehearsal, and oh my goodness, I was mesmerized. I was like, people can teach songs in 10 minutes and be good. They can be threatened and still love God.
Yes, come on.
So
Throwing throwing
I
shoes at
said to
the
myself, I said to myself, this is what I want to do. So I came back to UNAC the next year and the next year. So after 3 years of just coming and watching Dr. Maddie Moss Clark, I went home and said, you know what? I want to do that. So the Lord blessed me to write my first song. The song is called You Can't Hide from God. It's on one of the old UNAC albums. Albums, okay? Albums. So I wrote this song. I didn't even tell my family. I went to UNAC and I said, Dr. Clark, I have a song. I'd like to teach it to the 2,000 voice choir. Now, Jen, remember, I'd never taught a song to a choir before because I was the musician. So Dr. Clark said, all right, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I taught the song. It was amazing. The Lord anointed me to teach music. And so from there, it went over well. We sang it. It was recorded on one of the albums. I went home and I told my family, I wrote my first song and I taught it in UNAC. And they were like, what? So, so that was the beginning of teaching. So point number two, if you want something bad enough, first of all, you have to work hard for it. Secondly, you have to ask the right questions to the right people. I could have sat there for years on end and saying, man, I sure would like to do that. That seems so amazing. But I sought the Lord and I said, Lord, this is what I want to do. Who should I talk to? Go to the top. And I spoke to Dr. Maddie Moss Clark, and she gave me the opportunity. So that's how the music ministry in my life was birthed. But here's the other part. I played by ear. I taught by ear, but I knew that there was more. I didn't want to just be a musician that could only play by ear. So after high school, undergrad, I met Dr. Ann McKinley, my music teacher. Now, mind you, I'm going into college, have never read a note. Okay? Not one note. Not one. No, not one. There was not a note in my mind. No, not one. No, not one. So Dr. McKinley, may she rest in peace, an other American took me under her wings and she saw something in me and began to help me. She began to teach me. She was a piano teacher and she worked with me and she worked with me. And then after 4 years, I received my degree in piano studies and that's how it all began. So point number three is, number one, you have to work hard. Number two, you have to ask the right questions. But number three is that in one and two, you have to know how to put those together to be successful. Because I could be successful as an player only, but I wouldn't truly be successful until I was able to do both so that I would be marketable in every arena in the
Okay,
marketplace.
I gotta stop you. I have to
Okay.
stop you because on Boss Up, you're already teaching and preaching. Let me pause and say, you know a good preacher when you see one because they are expository in how they share a narrative. So you're already giving us 3 points. I love it. But I want to stop because you said something really early on that I don't want our audience to miss. And keep your 3 points because we're going to come back to that.
All right.
Um, you said something about meeting needs and solving problems.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in our business acumen and in our search for our voice as brands and as business owners, what we often do is look at what's working and we look at what other people are finding success in and say, okay, I'm called to do that or I want to do that. But what I hear you saying is the way to truly find out which business is the business we need to pursue. Number one, there's a prayer journey. It sounds like that accompanies that conversation. But then also, you're saying you looked around and saw a need. And so you developed your business around a need. So, quickly, if you're just joining us, we need you to do us a favor. This is the Boss Up Show on Hope TV. We need you to share this video on all of your social media platforms. We welcome you tonight to our particular show, Boss Up. It's on our Hope TV network, but we need you to invite somebody because this is rich. This is good. So back to you, Tlynn. Dr.
No
T,
problem.
back to you.
T-Lynn is
Give us what.
fine. No, you're talking about meeting needs. And this is what is so important right now in the season that we're in the COVID season, in the new year. There are so many needs, but like you said, based on what I said, then you said, based on what I said. Okay, I was the
Yes,
point
all
is,
of that.
yeah, all of that. There are needs out there, and if we're not careful, we will overlook what people need and try to give them what they have. Okay? Having something and needing something are two different things.
Wait, repeat that. Repeat. We
Having
will try to.
something,
The one before that, we will try to give them something that what?
we will
Say
try
that
to give them something that they have when we should be trying to give them something that they need.
excellent.
Having and needing are two different things. And in this season, in this hour, it is important that we look to meet needs. That is what I believe the Lord is saying. That and think about Jesus. He didn't give people what they had. He always met a need. He always met a need. And if we are to be disciples of Jesus Christ, then that should be our mantra, that we are working to meet the needs of those that we have influence over. We're working to meet the needs of those that are in our churches, on our job. So wherever there's a need, we need to be found trying to meet it as the Lord's people. And as a little girl, I didn't know that's what I was doing. But what I knew was I heard the voice of the Lord. And as the Lord would speak, I would move.
So I want to jump in there. I want to jump in there. I want to ask you because there are some business owners who are watching. There are some professionals who are watching and saying, "How do you even know when the Lord is speaking to you?" So can you elaborate on that? How do I, as a business leader, know if it's God or if it's me?
That is a very good question, and it is one that people often have. First of all, in order to know God's voice, you have to spend time with God. Just like a parent, you know the voice of your parent because they are with you all the time. All right. So, as a business owner, it is important, first of all, that you dedicate whatever it is that you're doing to the work of the Lord, to the Lord. Because when you dedicate it to the Lord, then that releases Him to bless what you have. And so, the best way to know the voice of the Lord is, first of all, to spend time with Him, spend time cultivating, um, understanding His voice, so that when others come to you with proposals that are not going to benefit the glory or show the glory of the Lord, then you won't be tempted to take part in that. But you will know that, okay, this is nice. I might make a whole lot of money, but am I meeting a need? Will someone be blessed as a result of what it is that I'm doing? And so it's important to spend time with the Lord so that you'll know His voice. And so then when you know that it is God prompting you to move forward or to wait or to pause, then you can say, listen, this is a great opportunity, but it's not the opportunity that I need right now. Spending time in the presence of the Lord will help you know His voice and know His leading.
This is good. This is rich. Like you are a CEO, you're a pastor, and you're taking us to Bible study on Boss Up. And I don't
Oh,
have any
yeah.
issues. Listen, I don't have issues with it at all, because I believe in the blending of both the secular and the sacred. I believe in that. That's a key tenet for me. I can go into some Anthony Penn and talk about why that is, but I do believe that we blend both the secular and the sacred, especially when we talk about business. And if we're
Yes,
so
that
yes,
is so important. And I'll tell you, that was one of the reasons, as I said early on, that I did music and business. Because I saw people that were in music ministry that were very artistic, but they didn't have the business acumen. And there again, I said, Lord, there are needs that have to be met, but I won't be able to meet them if I don't have the balance. And balance is key.
so we both know as we round out the show, I want to really kind of maximize all my time with you. Even
All
though I'm
right.
already going to speak it to the producers while they're watching, she'll be back. She got to come back. When we talk about this whole piece of 2020 being a rough year and people having to pivot, you are one of those CEOs. You had business last year, and your
Mhm.
business survived a season when a lot of businesses shut their doors. And so I want to know from you to our listeners, to our watchers, our viewing audience, what did you do last year so that you're still here this year?
That's a great question as well. The one thing that we did is that we looked at our digital imprint or our digital footprint. All right. Because
Yeah.
we were already doing some things online, but we realized that if we were going to survive, we had to learn how to do everything online, but not just learn how to do them online, but do them excellently. Because it's one thing to be able to train or to coach in person, but how effective are you in your training and your coaching online? So we had to make sure that we were relevant in our technology. We had to make sure that we understood what it took to engage someone online. So our software had to change. Our cameras had to change. Everything about us had to really be incorporated into our digital fingerprint. Everything, we had to look at it from a digital perspective and not so much from a customer service touch me perspective.
Yeah.
Those were the things that helped us survive. And now that we understand that, now we're going to thrive.
I love it. I love it. So I want to share a little bit about my journey, and maybe my question can help our viewing audience as well. This year we've expanded the Jennifer Carter Inc. brand, my business where I'm CEO, Winning Woman. We've expanded it to include consulting. We've expanded it to include coaching for high performing teams in churches. And so we've been conducting some consultations. We've had a couple of training seminars this year. And one question that comes up often is, how do you monetize coaching? How do you monetize encouragement? Because, in the church, we're all supposed to be exhorters or encouragers. So I want to talk to you about that because you've run a successful coaching firm, coaching business for quite some time. How do you help people understand that there's a preparation process behind even being able to coach and being able to provide consulting services? You still have to have your curriculum. You still have to have hours, man hours, woman hours that you work to produce this service. So how do you get your clients into your fee structure?
Just like when you go to the medical doctor and you want his or her service, you know it's going to cost something. You know that there's value in what they bring to the table. They have expertise. So you value their expertise. So when people come to you, they come to you, first of all, because they value your opinion. Now, they may not always understand that your opinion has a cost factor to it, but they do understand that there's some value. So many times what I'll do is my initial coaching session will be a free one for 10 minutes or so. And then I'll ask the person, have you found value in our time together? Do you feel differently having sat with me for 10 minutes? And overwhelmingly, they all say yes. And as a result of that, then they begin to understand the value that I have or that the team has with them. That prior to talking to us, you were feeling this way. You were seeing things this way. But now, in this 10-minute span, you're seeing things differently. So sometimes you have to show in order to tell.
Listen, if you are watching Boss Up for the first time, I hope that this means you're going to come back next week, because tonight, Dr. Tlynn Smith is dropping bombs. So I want to back up a little bit and say this
Sure.
is the Boss Up Show on Hope TV. Dr. E. Dewey Smith is our senior pastor, and we believe that life with God is better in every way, every day. We need you to subscribe to our Hope TV channel on YouTube. Subscribe to our Hope TV channels on our website, because Boss Up is for you. It's an opportunity for professionals and entrepreneurs to get the tools, the terminology, and the strength that you need to power through this pandemic and come out on top, because we can win through anything, right? We're about to
Absolutely.
close this episode, but I have to give you the final words, because you've been blessing us this entire time. So Dr. T, can you share with us, Dr. Tlynn, can you share with us how we can reach you if we want to hire your consulting service? If there's a music minister who's watching, or a director of worship and arts who's watching and saying, I need someone on her level to help me figure out how to organize my business, or how to organize my music ministry. How can we reach you? And do you have any final words for our audience?
Certainly. You can reach me through email at Real Solutions, that's Real, REAL, Solutions, GA, at Gmail, or you can go to our website, which is Real Solutions GA, that's www.realsolutionsga.com. You can reach us there. The other thing that I want to say that, yes, music is one component, but of certainly business coaching, life coaching is another component. But the most important thing is that when you spend time with us, you will leave knowing better who God is in your life. Because everything that we do points to God. Everything that we do illuminates God. And when you allow God to be first in your life, whether you're leading choirs, whether you're leading a Fortune 500 company, whether you're leading your family at home, if you and when you put God first in everything, then that obligates God to bless you in your work. I got to also say thank you to Pastor E. Dewey Smith for allowing this opportunity to come to me today, and to you, Pastor Carner, for thinking enough of me to have me sit in today to share just some small nuggets with the people of the Lord.
Again, we're honored to have you, Dr. T. And I told you in the beginning, or I shared with our audience in the beginning, you're special to me for several reasons. I consider you to be a mentor, a sister, a big sister, and just a powerful woman of influence. So it is my prayer that God will continue to bless you and continue to open doors for you, and opportunities, continue to send opportunities for you to do what you do so well. Again, thank you for joining us for this episode of Boss Up. We are excited that you spent your Friday night with us. We want to see you again next week. I'm telling you guys, this series has been lit. It's going to be amazing. And again, on behalf of Dr. E. Dewey Smith Jr., we thank you for watching. And in conclusion, if you are good to God, as our senior pastor says, God will be good to you. Have a great weekend.